Hey guys, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we want to show you one of our Daytona Reptile Expo pickups. This is one of the snakes that I've really wanted for a long time. I just think they're really neat, and so we picked up some green tree pythons, and today we're going to show you one of them. So we're going to go ahead and come over here and take a look at the green tree python. I'll open this cage, it's a little easier to see. I've actually let the humidity down just a little bit so it's not all fogged up in there like it usually is. But this is a Biak green tree python, and there are several different names you'll hear. You'll hear Biak, Aru, Sorong, Pura, all kinds of different stuff. And those are not referring to morphs. Like we talk about ball python, everything refers to a morph. They actually refer to locations. So with this being a Biak, that means it comes from like the Biak Island. I wanted Biaks. Biaks are probably the most common you see in the pet trade. The reason I wanted this is if you're not familiar with green tree pythons, you're probably saying, Matt, I don't know what you're talking about, that thing's yellow, and you'd be right. But they go through an autogenic, which is a color change over time. So over time, this snake will most likely turn almost entirely this bright green. The ones from Biak Island take longer to do so. So that change, instead of occurring in, say, a year, will take 4 to 5 years to completely stop. And I kind of find that fascinating, so I wanted one where I could spend some time really watching the color change. So I'm really excited about that. Looks like there's a little fly in there bothering her. But if you look even right here, you can actually see just a little bit of green coming in there on the spine. And they are pythons, so right on the lip you can see the heat pits, similar almost like a carpet. They're actually in the Morelia family, so they are really close related to carpets. If you remember our carpet videos. And I think just the eyes on these things are awesome. Now, green tree pythons are notorious for having a really, really bad attitude. But as you can see, it's not jumping out the cage trying to kill me, but if you start messing with it, they usually do attempt to defend themselves. So, we kind of addressed that a little bit in our cage setup. So we're going to talk about this cage setup. It's very basic because we just got this. We're going to add some plants and some things around it. We went with again, the coconut fiber, just because it holds humidity so well. So we got a bunch of that in there. And it's a little dry right now. Like I say, I wanted to let the humidity down for the video a bit. A decent sized water dish, which also helps with humidity. And then, these guys are arboreal, so they will hardly ever touch the ground. Like, they really don't do it. If you see your green tree python hanging on the ground, honestly, you should probably be pretty concerned. So we built some perches for it. And we made these perches, they're easy to come out like that. The one thing is, since it's still a little on the small side, rotate that back around, we had to make some connections to make sure it could get from one perch to the other easy enough, because you want to make sure it can get to its water and everything. So we made a connector, which is just a pliable, it's like a plastic hanging thing, so we can take that in and out when the time comes. We can take both those rods out really easy if we need to remove the green tree for anything. It's much easier to remove it when it's on a perch and just leave it on the perch. Otherwise, you're probably going to bleed a little bit. But again, they're small, their bites aren't bad, they're really not the quickest strike either. But I don't like to stress it out by having it trying to bite me all the time. So what we did is we just got some closet hangers, and we attached them with some of the, they call them the command strips. It's kind of a test run, trial run to see if it works, and so far it's working pretty good. And, I'm always a little leery about putting anything that's an adhesive in there, but these pull off very easy. If we did have a problem, you can get those off. So not a big issue, but that gives it 2 separate perches. We ran a daytime halogen light. You can see that light there. It's 25 watts. It makes a nice hot spot. At first, I actually had it over here shining on the top perch, but I found that was spiking my temperature too high, so I moved it to the front perch where it's a little lower. Now, these guys are pretty tropical, so they need pretty high humidity to do well. And this is a screen top cage. It's one of those Exoterras that is a front close, which is what you want. You need some height for these guys because of them being arboreal. So we made, I don't know if you can see them very well from the inside or maybe from the top, but we made panels that fit over the top screen. So what that does is it helps to keep the humidity in here. So when I spray this down or do anything, these will literally like almost rain inside. We can push the humidity up extremely high. Once we put on the heat lamp, it did start to help dry that out a little bit, but that's kind of where we're at. And so this is our Biak green tree python, and this is a yellow baby. They do come in multiple colors. See if we can get the face to look at you here. There you go. As you can see, at any touch, it's just ready to go. That's just the nature of what these guys are. But I think they're beautiful. They make a great display snake. They don't tend to use hides. They tend to want to be out on that perch. They eat from their perch. They constrict things from their perch. They pretty much do everything from there. So, yeah, they're pretty amazing as long as you're okay with it being a little bit more of a defensive snake than a ball python. But I think they're beautiful. So that's kind of all I got. Kurt, you got any questions?
Yeah, what do you feed this snake?
Well, this snake right now is taking pretty much large pinkies, pinky rats. Let me make that clear. It can handle those pretty much no problem. And I feed it about once a week currently, and we'll step up in size as we go. We have done some like, hopper mice, I guess you'd say too, that are about the equivalent of the size. The pinky rats obviously aren't going to run around a lot to attract that feed response, so I pretty much put them on a feed tong, hold it close, and then she'll come and get them, no problem. So, any other questions?
How big will she get? Is this cage going to last her for quite a while?
This cage will actually last her for quite a while. Again, I mean, if anything, what we might do is nature it up a little bit. I'm honestly not sold on the hangers I've built. I like them for the ease of use, but I may end up wanting to make this a prettier display where I can get some actual, pieces of wood from outside and place in it. When you do that, bake your wood in the oven at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. It should kill everything that's on there, so that way you're not introducing bad stuff into your reptile. But we may make these more of a natural looking terrarium. This was just a quick, easy way to set it up. Size you asked about, they don't get that big. I mean, they can hit 5 to 6 feet, probably maximum length, but they're a lot skinnier than a ball python. They stay pretty thin-bodied because they're arboreal. So they perch up just like you see it doing as an adult. So, any other questions?
Nope, that should be all.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for checking out our Biak green tree python. We probably have a few more things to show you from Daytona and a few more videos we filmed in Daytona. That was a really fun trip for us. Also, a big shout out and thanks to everybody that went to the Cons Reptile show. Hopefully for those of you that saw us there, you came up and said hi. We had several people say, hey, I watched your channel. I thought that was kind of mind-blowing and awesome. We sold a few t-shirts. Make sure and wear those with pride. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for supporting us.